Well, in honor of Native American month, is it? Is it month? Uh, I'm going to read. This is a family story, and it's a true story. It's about my great grandfather, my great grandfather. Excuse me, not great great grandfather. His name was James Monroe, and he was born in 1847, and he died at age 97 in 1954. And he told me this story when I was 8 years old in 1953. Um, so this story is 160 years old in living memory. And it's a story of justice. So it's called Sisabuckwa Jim. Little James Monroe, excuse me, watched his father go walking with Dakota Braves. I forgot, I should have mentioned he was Dakota. Dakota and Lakota were two sides of the tribe the French called the Sioux tribe. Little James Monroe watched his father go, walking with Dakota Braves, carrying muskets and carbines for the hunt. The tribe lived on the government dole: tinned beef, ham, sugar, salt, tobacco, potatoes, flour, lard, cheese, chocolate, peaches, raisins, figs. But in dreams they drooled for elk, deer, and rabbit, roasted whole, juices dripping, fat spitting on greenwood overcooked fires. So away from the village to the leafless gray woods, the braves trampled in twos or threes, pairing fathers and uncles, brothers, friends, and cousins. But grandfathers, too old for the rigorous hunt, stayed back, chanting, singing, telling tales, eating fry bread, beef and peaches, rolling cigarettes, aching, laughing, waiting for the tribe, for the braves, waiting with the tribe for the braves to return. Each night the hunters camped against the cold moon of the rutting deer. Night spirits numbed their bones, but maple fires kept them warm. Sad for all, the hunt failed. The sun rose 4 times, and their hunger hurt. They fair complained of starving. They ceased to speak, and shat no more. The sky was scarred, the sun was low, the woods were thin. The hunters shuffled and took the way of homeward bound, when in the distance they saw smoke rising and smelled meat, meat, sweet smoke of heaven. Yes, a pillar rising, yes, a saving signal. They walked and saw a cabin. They approached and gathered, waiting before its porch. Now their chief knocked on the door, stepped back and waited. A man came out, a trapper, his carbine unslung, ready. "What do you want?" he asked the Indians. "Food," they answered. "Look at us. We're starving." He went back inside his house, returning with a large iron pot. "Here," he offered, "eat." The Dakota hunters smelled the pot. "But this is rotten," they said. "We cannot eat it, friend. Please give us some of the meat we smelled here roasting." "Eat," he said, pointing at the pot, cocking his carbine, aiming at them. "Eat!" And they ate, passing the pot, man to man, each man retching. "Eat," he said, "eat your fill. Empty the pot," he laughed, quite heartily, but kept his carbine leveled at his ragged, gagging guest. "Eat," he laughed, "eat!" They ate, each one eating only to help the others, emptying the pot, insulted, infuriated by the nasty trick. Downcast, defeated, they walked away, vomiting the rotten stew, staggering homeward, stopping to squirt it from their fiery guts. Arriving home, they told the tribe of great misfortune. Skinny and weak, no elk or deer, no rabbit, and thankful again for the government dole: fry bread, peaches, fry bread, coffee, ham, fry bread, fry bread, tinned beef. Time passed to the moon when trees cracked from the cold. The people stayed in bark slab houses with maple fires, log after log, to keep well warm both day and night. From time to time, men went out to track raccoon and deer, to trap beaver, rabbit, fox, and mink. For deer and rabbit meant a feast, and beaver hats were highly prized. Winter white-furred rabbit pelts, wily fox, and slinky mink women want for outer garments, pretty, silky, soft, and warm. It was sowing time and mending time, story time, a time to plant, for the moon of June berries when men go hunting buffalo, cast lead ball and sharpen knives, tend the horses, clean the rifles, a time to dance, to laugh with children, tell them stories, smoke tobacco, hear the elders, mourn the dying, make sky burials, burn their teepees, chant and pray. At last it came, the moon when ducks come back. Though snow was on the ground and ice still on the branches, they went outside and stomped about, for it was mapling time, time of the giving trees, when sap rose up the trunks, time to tap the maples and put up buckets to gather sap and pour it into heated cauldrons, keep it boiling, never burning, while it thickened into syrup. Keep the hands upon the ladle, tend the furious maple fires, stirring, laughing, singing songs, children dancing, whirling, playing, begging moms for fresh snow candy, mothers smiling, yielding, dipping the ladle full and slinging it out on the snow, making the sticky, warm taffy mass children craved, and quickly learned, like children everywhere, a wariness of candy. Too much means aching bellies and even worse, loose bowels. The long, long days of tending taps, carrying buckets, boiling sap to syrup, filling and stoppering jugs and jars, stretched into an unbroken rhythm, until one day a white man came, a French trapper, easily known by his red Whitney blanket coat, smiling, tired, greeting Indians he didn't recognize, but oh, they recognized him. That one, they said in Dakota, the one who caused such sickness, the one who committed great sin against the Great Spirit, who treated guests as enemies, who fed us poison, made us puke. Now let us go reason with him. French, excuse me, got a little anxious there. My fingers are cold. You know the lack of feeling. They smiled and spoke in English. Hello, friend. What is your name? I am called Jim, he answered back. Say, I am hungry, and I have smelled your cooking fires. They are sweet and good. Might I have a little taste? Of course, they said. You are our guest. Gesturing to a cauldron squaw who slung a ladle onto the snow, as they did for children. Eat, they gestured. Why, thank you. He happily sucked and chewed the lengthy mass, smiling as he finally smacked his lips and made to pack the rest, rubbing his belly, saying, Thank you, friends, I'm full. But now the braves held up their rifles, aimed them at the trapper, and spoke in unison, Eat. He ate the rest begrudgingly and looked at the people hopefully as though a joke was made, but the men signaled to the cauldron woman, who slung another generous ladle. They pointed to the maple candy, Eat, eat, and Jim's face fell, beginning a most unpleasant task, much more slowly this time, chewing, feeling the ache, his tummy, his throat, his teeth. Long was the time in front of the fires, warm then hot, then off came his coat, and oh, did Jim stink, as only French trappers. Well, how about that for a little goof on words there? French trappers could stink. Skinning, fleshing, stretching pelts, and bathing thought a waste of time. Phew! Now sweat and pain were equals partners on a grimaced face, his greasy hair dripping. Please, he begged, no more, I just cannot, I will be sick. They leveled their rifles threateningly. Eat, they commanded, nodding to a squaw who slung a third ladle onto the snow. Eat! He slowly took the sticky mass, his sad face weeping, his mouth set in a rictus grin, his slobber flowing. He sucked and chewed, he gagged, he retched, he chewed and sucked. He full revolted, he twitched and trembled, his bowels let go. Now they thought him near to dying, so sick was the trapper Jim, so hard was his lesson, that they told him he may go. Making merry sweet revenge, laughing as he fumbled clothing, took his carbine, staggered off, shitting from a pant leg. Wait, they called, and Jim obeyed, turning around. Now do you remember us? It was you in the moon of the rutting deer when we were hungry, knocked on your door, asking for meat that we smelled roasting. Yet you gave us rotten stew and made us sick. Today we took revenge. From now on, you will be known to the Dakota Nation as Sisabuckwa, which means maple sugar, and the nickname stuck for the whole of his life. For wherever he went, everyone called him Sisabuckwa Jim.